welcome to another video. We are no longer in warm, sunny Texas, but instead we just a little bit north in Oklahoma. What's the state park?
Quartz Mountain State Park
in
Oklahoma.
And we were really excited to check this place out. There was some really cool views and research. The campground looks great, but as you can see, it was a chilly night. We woke up to 9 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. And 20-mile-an-hour winds, so it's bitter. We were still gonna go for a hike. I think we're gonna skip that because the hikes we wanted to do with the snow, we just don't have visibility. We've got to make our way still 8 hours east today. So I think instead what we're gonna do here is just hang out just for a little bit, drive around, check out the park. Maybe we can find a photo from the truck, and then we're gonna hit the road and head out to our next big adventure that I'm sure will be fun. So let's get going. That is literally exactly the route we're driving through. Oh boy.
Once we got away from our campsite and its tree cover, we realized what a good call it was to skip the hike. The wind was pretty crazy and the weather was worsening. We had the gear to hike safely, but there simply wasn't a point. Both of the hikes we were considering were to summit with vista views that wouldn't have been very vista-ish due to the flying snow. This said, with our little bit of truck exploring, we learned that we definitely want to revisit when we find ourselves in this area again.
Ooh. This is cool though. And zoomies. After several hours of crappy roads, we arrived at Big Cedar Lodge just outside of Branson, Missouri. After checking out our cabin and then settling in a bit, we went for a short walk before heading out to dinner at the Buzzard Bar, where we enjoyed a lovely sunset while dining. Afterward, a nightcap stroll before ending the long day.
What a lovely night's rest.
It was, but we are not back in the car, at least so quickly. I actually built in a full day to explore here, and we got the Adventures Pass, so we have some exploring to do. Let's go get into that.
All right.
The main point of interest that prompted Jay to plan a stop here was the top of the rock Lost Canyon Cave Trail, which you enjoy by golf cart. So we headed there first.
Unfortunately, weather and ice along the path forced a delayed start to later in the day, so we headed to the ancient Ozarks Natural History Museum to kill some time. It didn't take us long once in the museum to be overwhelmed at the volume and quality of the artifacts on display. While all based on the Ozarks, time was unwound to the prehistoric era and then guided us through the John Wayne Hollywood heydays.
With our increased knowledge balls, we headed back over to the Lost Canyon Cave for an update on the trail to learn it would not open due to the still hanging ice. We were bummed a bit to learn this, but tried to shrug it off and find other things to do on the massive property. So we headed back down the mountain to regroup.
Now late afternoon, we decided to start with an early dinner at Arnie's barn, which overlooked the soon-to-open Cathedral of Nature. This area was part of a golf course. Then, one morning, a pond was found drained. In an effort to discover where the water had gone, excavation began. Johnny Morris's curiosity has now led to 1.6 million yards of earth and 108,000 loads of dirt being removed to expose the amazing rock formations.
Next, we attempted Fun Mountain. A hot spot for some, especially due to the weather, this type of activity isn't really our style. Even when our boys were young, we would avoid this with the exception of birthdays and special occasions. But we tried to stretch our stubborn ways. We failed. Our personal favorite spot was outside and overlooking the go-kart track, which is our type of activity, wishing it wasn't still closed for the winter season.
The day had now warmed a fair amount, so we stayed outside and went for a scenic walk back to our cabin instead of using the shuttle bus before going back out for cocktails to wrap up our day here.
The following morning, we were up early to make the long drive home. With a last-ditch attempt, we stopped at the top of the rock to see if the Lost Canyon was open. It was.
Hey, woman! It was my turn to drive!
You want some?
No, I don't need nothing. It's a little early for that. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Don't make me rush you. there you go, the golf cart nature trail at Top of the Rock.
Yes.
We have got to wrap this baby up and get our rear ends home. We have got an 11-hour plus probably a little bit drive.
Yes.
So off we go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Follow along for our next adventure. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.